Hello, Assalamualaikum, Namaste once again. Thank you, Pradeep ji. And I hope my network doesn't go out this time again. So today again the panel will be on Desi and Kabli Chana, and we will have in-depth and good discussion with the Desis and Kabli traders, Mr. Manoj Chaudhary and Mr. Anas Mania. As you can see, Pakistan is the largest importer of Desi and Kablis into Pakistan from different regions, and Myanmar is one of the country which produces and exports Desi and Kabli chana. So we have with us Mr. Manoj Chaudhary from Sun Impacts and Mr. Anas Mania from Mid Transport. We'll start with the presentation and the numbers. So this is the Desi chana production and the trade between Myanmar and Pakistan. As you can see in 2017-18, the production in Myanmar was 225,000 tons, and today in 2021 to 2022, it is more or less same around 230,000 tons. Whereas the production in Pakistan is less as compared to last 3 years, it is around 300,000 tons expected. And the imports from different countries for Desi Chana into Pakistan, it ranges from 420,000 tons to 427,000 tons. Whereas we can see the very low and minimal volume has been imported from Myanmar, which is around 13,000 tons as of 2021 and 2022. However, Myanmar is exporting good quantity to different countries, and it is around 35,000 tons, which is almost 13 to 14% of the total crop. And we believe there would be a carry forward stock as well. Coming to Kabuli chana production in Myanmar and imports into Pakistan. Pakistan imports around 270,000 tons in 2001, in 2000, 2021, and whereas the production exports from Myanmar were around 68,000 tons and export to other countries were around 28,000, which is more or less like 50 to 60% of the total crop. So now moving forward to our speakers, we have with us Mr. Manojji. So Manojji, I have a questions from you and we'll start a discussion on the Desi and Kabli chickpeas. So how many varieties do you think we have in Myanmar for Desi and Kablis?
Thank you, Mahesh bhai. First of all, Salaam Alaikum, all the Pakistan, Namaskar to India, and Minglawa to Myanmar. Going back to your question, like how many varieties? There are three varieties of Desi chickpeas produced in Myanmar. The one is Holon, 929, and Machimon. And in Kabuli, mainly two varieties. It depends on size B2 and B7, and little extent they have a bigger size that we call as a B9.
Okay. And what volumes do you export or exported in past? Which quality do you export it to Pakistan in Kabulis and Desis? Because Desis we import from Australia as well, and I believe both of the varieties of Desis are imported into Pakistan from Myanmar. Obviously, the quantities are not as much bigger, different origins.
uh, Basically like desi chana is a very price sensitive market, and being a Myanmar prices are a bit higher side because of the local consumption. So a
Okay,
special type of chana that which is used for a putana purpose like a machimon, it has been imported in Pakistan, and some extent holon chana.
okay. And how do you will explain the different sizes and types of Kabulis like you already mentioned? Which Kabuli have which sizes
Okay.
and which one is exported most?
Okay. See, the Kabuli like B2 is a mix of 456 mm size, and B7 is a mix of like 567. It is bit similar to like what Russia is having, like 567 size
Okay,
V7, and V9 is 78 mm.
okay,
And mainly exported quality is V2.
okay, all right. Uh, Mr. Anas, we can see the numbers of production in Pakistan have decreased for Desi chickpeas. What is the reason behind this?
Thank you, Mahesh bhai, and a big hello to all the panelists, speakers, and our wonderful audience. Yes, coming over to you, Mahesh bhai. You can see that the weather is the main factor that affects the desi crop here in Pakistan because we don't have a good irrigation system here. We are totally dependent upon the rains, and the rains, and it depends from year to year end basis. So that's why the production is not really under the control of the farmers. The government does not give much incentives. So yeah, this is what it is for this is.
Okay, so you believe this year the imports would be higher than the last year. If we compare to last year, this year imports for desis would be higher.
But this year, just in 2022, the situation is very different, Mahesh bhai, because this year we are expecting a bumper crop, and maybe we need to import even less than 100,000 tons this year because people are expecting a bumper crop that we haven't seen for the past 5, 6, 7 years here.
Okay. How do you see the weather for is it fine and good for the harvesting for the desi chickpeas?
Yeah, it rained today, and people are expecting it rained today, which is even more good for the crop. It was already a bumper crop. It rained today, and people are more bullish, more optimistic now
Okay,
about the
okay,
production figures. So yeah, it's a
okay,
good crop so far, so good.
okay. And okay,
Yeah.
coming to Mr. Manojji, what are the major countries which are for which desi and kabli's is exported from Myanmar? And how much is the local consumption of the chickpeas? Is it white desi? Is it kabli or desi chickpeas?
Apart from Pakistan, like Bangladesh is one of the biggest market for the Myanmar products, and also it goes some extent to Nepal and India.
Okay,
Uh, for the 80%, 60 to 70 to 80% of the production of both desi, for desi, it has been consumed in locally. Like most of the dal mills and Upper Myanmar side are there, which produces all the dals, and they have a staple food in the morning breakfast. They call it as a mohinga. In this chana dal has been used a lot in a form of besan, and
okay,
they also make a tofu which is soya free, so that in that also this is highly consumed. So consumption is very high for desi chana in Myanmar.
okay. And how about kabli?
Kabuli is also like when the prices goes up in a local market for desi, then they used to prepare for the dal meal and they mix with desi.
Okay, so they use as a substitute, same like in Pakistan we do.
Yes.
Okay, as per the presentation and the numbers given, we see the exports from Myanmar for desi is almost more or less around 5% only of the total
Yeah.
production in Myanmar. So what is the reason behind that?
The first reason is the stable production. You might be seeing that from past 5 years, the production has not been increased. It has been more or less same. First
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
yeah, and the second thing is that the domestic consumption is good in for this one chana
Okay.
in
How
Myanmar.
much is the total domestic consumption for the chana?
It can be considered like altogether it is 60% to 70% is consumed here.
Okay. And how much will we carry forward?
Carry forward by Ms. Jan 2022, we are expecting around only 20 to 30,000, including both Desi and Kabuli.
Okay, all right. And how do you expect the crop this year?
Looking at like everything is going fine in Myanmar, weather is good and everything is good. The crop started harvesting also here, so it feels like around means around about 250,000 ton about desi will be there, and 70 to 80,000 will be the Kabuli.
Okay, okay. And what are the major countries for Kabuli? Because you because Pakistan imports from different regions and allows it from its earnest money as well. But what other countries do you export major from Myanmar?
Kabuli we export to India and Nepal to
Okay,
some extent.
okay. Okay, but coming to Anasji again, how much volumes are
Hmm.
imported from Australia in terms of desi, and from which other countries do we import Kablis? Which one is the highest exporter of Kablis as well to Pakistan?
First, moving towards Desi, Australia is our main origin from where we import the goods. Mainly, it's because of the price. So, We are importing from Australia, from Tanzania, from Russia, from Myanmar, and it's a price competition. Whoever wins, Pakistan buys from them. So this is the scenario on desis. For Kabulis, yes, you can see that the figures in Pakistan for Kabulis have increased a lot. We used to import around 150,000 tons back in 2017. Right now, we are importing close to 300,000 tons of Kabulis every year. So 270,000 tons
Okay.
was in 2021. So out of which 150 to 160,000 tons is the smaller caliber that we are importing mainly from Russia. So we have Russia, we have Myanmar, and then we have Sudan. That's the three main countries from where we import the small caliber. And again, it's a price competition. So usually
Okay.
Russia wins. So that's where we are buying most of our cargoes from. And looking into the larger caliber, which is 8 and 9 mm, that's we are importing mostly from Canada, Turkey,
Okay.
USA, and Argentina. Yeah, these are the origin
Okay.
from where we are importing. Yeah.
Okay. As you
Hmm.
mentioned, Russia and Sudan. So I believe this year there were less or no imports from Sudan because of the critical conditions ongoing in Sudan. And since yesterday we see a
Yeah,
dispute between Russia and Ukraine. So everything has come to an halt,
exactly,
including shipping lines, the exports
exactly.
and
And this.
imports. So what do you think?
Hmm. Hmm.
Pakistan will divert to which market for Kabulis?
I know this is a very tricky question because the importers, yeah, they are just thinking all around. If we have heard that no vessel is going to Ukraine, so Ukraine is out. So far, I just read an article today. Maersk Line has said that they are going to and fro from Russia, but that's also a very critical situation that we will know next week. So if Russia is out, as I mentioned, 150,000 tons we need for the smaller caliber. I can't find any origin from where we can cover those 150,000 tons. So yes, Sudan crop is coming in April, which is next month. In April, yeah, after 2 months. And Myanmar is the main origin that we are looking at for the time being. If anything happens with Russia, and if Russia is out of the equation,
Okay, then we'll be moving to which market? Do you think Myanmar is the right market to move on if the prices are workable?
Myanmar is right. Yeah, prices are right now. The prices out of Myanmar and Russia are both the same at the moment. That's why you have seen a lot of trades happening out of Myanmar every day. Even today, some trade happens at 8:45. So
Right.
yes, Myanmar is in the equation now. But if Myanmar increases its price above 875, 900, then we will probably have to switch towards Sudan, or we might look towards Australia 7/8. That's
Okay.
the two alternates that we are going to switch to. Yeah.
Okay. So coming
Hmm.
back to Mr. Ashokji, how do you see the prices and demand in coming days? As Mr. Anas told, there has been businesses for Kabulis. So what is your view on the price and demand from Pakistan, including other countries as well?
No, that very rightly said by Mr. Anas that already that business has been started due to the recent conflict and all this thing. Almost it started at 810 level for Kabuli, and today it has been traded at 845, 850 level for Pakistan. So demand is switching towards the Myanmar, and Myanmar also right now the production is good, so they are selling at these prices. I hope that the trade
Okay.
will maintain at this level plus minus $20.
Okay. And how prices will rule for both Desi and Kabulis internationally and locally?
No, if the demand increases from Pakistan, definitely prices will shoot up here because in
Okay.
Myanmar also they have their local consumption. So the sellings will be led, but it will happen only in the April only. Not I think that February and March will go stable because it's a harvesting time. Most of the crops get harvested here at that time, and money crunch is there. So at this particular period, yes, definitely the exports will be there from Myanmar.
Okay. Like Anas mentioned, we import around 120,000 tons of small caliber. So either it's from Russia or from Sudan or from Australia. So now if prices are workable, inshallah we will have trade with Myanmar as well. So Russia is out, so only we have Sudan and Myanmar and Australia. But the less transit time from Myanmar will make the business done, and I believe it will be much more competitive because we have ongoing demand all the year for Kabulis, and we use Desi as a substitute of Kabulis as well. Whatever the price higher, people just switch to different product. So
I
Anas,
hope
what do you
Mahesh
think
by
about?
next year. I hope Mahesh by next year your graph will little bit change because of the business will happen in Myanmar and Pakistan for Kabul. I'm sure for that. So maybe the next year graphs will show a different figures.
Okay, right. And how do you think this COVID wave is likely to affect, and what are these impacts? Global, Myanmar, chickpeas industry.
Now it has been almost more than 2 years now, so people are becoming little bit habituated to it now and
Okay, they are
managing.
used to it. Same like in Pakistan, we are.
Yes, yes. So
Okay,
apart from the freight charges, there is nothing else will be a problem for you.
okay. But there we came to know that the crude oil the price have increased because of the recent news of Russia and Ukraine. The freight prices might increase,
Yeah.
but there's no still confirmed news. So do you believe the
Yeah.
freight will increase again from Myanmar as well, and it will create a big destruction for the exports from the Myanmar?
Uh, Mesh, it's already the freights are on the higher side now, and because of the recent conflict, I don't see that it will be a much more increase in the freights because it is already in the higher side.
Okay, okay. Coming back to Anas Bhai, what do you think about the prices locally, internationally? What prices are workable for commercial importers in Pakistan?
For which commodity, desi or Kabalis?
For Desi and Kabulis, you
Or
can
maybe both?
advise for both.
Desis at the moment, Pakistan is out. Pakistan is not buying from anywhere because, we have a new crop coming in April, which is expected to be a bumper crop, and prices are expected to fall below 100 rupees. So it's all speculation. It's all expectation, but right now it's too big a risk for any importer to import desi chickpeas into Pakistan. So probably we'll have to wait for the next 1.5, 2 months, and then decide what
Okay,
to do on desis. But for Kabulis, for the 8, 9 MMs, we are very short of cargo here in Pakistan because buyers they couldn't
okay,
import for the last 4 to 5 to 6 months, maybe small volumes here and there. So we are very short on the larger calibers. But yes, we did import some Russians last month, 2 months earlier, which are on the pipeline, which are about to reach here in Pakistan. So for the smaller caliber, still we need to buy a lot. If Russia's situation doesn't improve, then probably Pakistan will go all out on Myanmar and Sudan and Australia.
okay. We hope the situation between Russia and Ukraine gets better so we can do more trade. And inshallah, we are looking forward to
And
do
and just a
more trade
just a
with
request,
Myanmar as
just a
well as
request
price
from
are
Manaji.
workable, as Anas said. Yes, please. Yes, Anas.
Yeah, just a request from Manojji because he really wanted to increase graph figures into Pakistan. So I would just request him to just lower the price to that's around $800, and we can see a very big graph of chickpeas coming out of Myanmar into Pakistan.
Inshallah, we'll surely see that figure
So yeah,
soon.
so the whole audience. This is a request from the whole audience, from the whole of Pakistan.
Okay. Now we'll come to Q&A session. There's a one question from Mr. Vladimir. Please assess the impact on the price of Kabuli chickpeas from the Black Sea region in light of the current war tensions between Russia and Ukraine. So, Anasji, what do you think? What will the price impact locally in Pakistan as well as
I think we all.
internationally?
Yeah, I think we already discussed this because Ukraine, because we are buying from Russia and Ukraine both. Right now, Ukraine is out of the out. Russia, it all depends what happens last week because I was hearing in the news that they are thinking of taking Russia out of the SWIFT system. So if it goes out of the SWIFT system, then payments cannot go in, it cannot come out, and Russia is out.
Okay.
And Pakistan needs 100,000 tons. So definitely prices are going to go up.
No, but like you said earlier, that there's a lot of cargo coming from Russia which is in transit to Pakistan.
Yes,
If there's any
yes,
problem in terms of payment which cannot be reflected into Russia, so how it will managed?
yeah. It's a tough question. You never know what's going to happen because we haven't experienced anything like this before in the history,
Okay,
or not in my personal life. So I really don't know what to say on that.
okay,
It will be very difficult. Yeah, yeah,
okay. We pray that things goes well. We have another
yeah.
question from Mr. Daniel Hassan, General Corporation. The current import
Mhm.
prices for the Myanmar and Russian kabelis are same for Pakistan. Which origin would be preferred more? Anasji?
Okay, yeah. Russia, it has a very good market here locally because Myanmar, we haven't imported since the last 3, 4 years. So it will be a little difficult to market it locally to get the buyer to accept the quality here locally in the local market. Obviously, if the prices are same, Russia is preferred, that's for sure. But secondly, what I'm seeing is what Manojji also told us was that the size of the Myanmar kabulis are small. So it's between 4 to 6 mm, and if I'm right,
Okay.
it's around 40 to 45% of 4 mms. Uh, so it's quite difficult to see how the market is going to react on that small size because we haven't had it for a long time. Uh, Russia is definitely preferred, that's for sure.
Okay. Okay, I believe the information was helpful to all our viewers. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Manojji and Anas Mania as the speaker. And if I'll now give it to Mr. Pradeep ji. Thank you everyone for listening to our webinar. We believe it was helpful and useful for everyone. Looking forward to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Pradeep, all to you.